Good Monday, Patreon listeners, and Wednesday, regular podcast listeners, or if you're fucking lazy and catching up, welcome to the podcast. On this week's episode, we have a very special guest, the wonderful Chris Martin, who comes on, and it starts just really what you'd expect from three blokes who've been friends for 10 plus years, just talking about coming, pissing, shit, and wanking and whatnot, and then we talk about like how appropriate it is to say certain things to your friends when their parents are ill, and there's an anecdote in there about some cunt that's also on the podcast. And then I think at the end we invented the world's best game show, but we didn't have the courage to do it, so you'll have to tune in to Patreon for that if it excites you, the very concept. And if it offends you, don't come back to the next episode, because it's only going to get worse. I'm not going to be fucking Ricky Gervais and Chappelle here and be like, oh, you can't say anything anymore. You know what this is. If you want to listen, do. And if you don't. I'll see you next time. Sloss and Humphries on the road.
Muggins and Cream, Cream and Muggins, straight thuggin', living the dream.
That's our intro.
Fucking muggles.
Tickling the clit inside your head to make.
So you were telling us about porn, Chris?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
Are we going?
Yeah, let's go.
I was talking. Do I have to wear headphones?
No, we're good. I've just got it in case it cuts out.
I was talking to a guy at not a wedding, at my wife's friends from university, and they were talking about thrusters. Just two men, just who there to, and they start talking about fleshlights and thrusters.
What's a thruster?
A thruster apparently is a thing. So you know what a fleshlight is?
Yeah, aye.
It's like you put it in there, and I think it jiggles it backwards and forwards. But basically, I sort of said like
a hammer drill.
I guess it's that. It's sort of
like a Black and Decker.
Yeah, I didn't. I mean, look it up on the internet. I didn't start googling it. But
I'm not googling that sort of stuff.
I started thinking, no.
I mean, that's the way we got into this conversation is because Kai's internet was open and we saw his last viewed porn, which ironically was called Black and Decker.
it's like Ant and Deck. But like X-rated. It was actually Janice Griffith. I feel like I'm getting old now that my favourite porn star is called Janice.
Yeah, that does feel old. But then I didn't realise that you have because then I said, this other guy, I started going, what kind of a weirdo has a favourite porn star? And this guy was like, I actually do. And then I looked her up and she was actually okay. So I kind of got the point. But what my main issue with this whole thing that we chatted was like, too much admin for masturbation. Do you not think that's a...
Wait, I just it
doesn't feel like you need a thruster. Do you need a thruster? It feels like, why put that much effort into just something that you can do like 8 seconds? How much more good do you need a wank to be?
I reckon if you're not getting shagged regular or shagging regularly, I think it's very easy as people who are all in relationships where they're having, sex at least once a month.
I'm going to stop you there.
Yeah.
One of the guys that this person was referring to who owns a thruster is in a relationship.
Oh, well then he definitely cheats.
But maybe he does that to not cheat.
Maybe he does it not cheat. Maybe he's just got like an insatiable libido.
Yeah. How much thrusting does someone need to do for that to sort of feel like cheating to a lady? Do you know what I mean? Like, if it's like, I'm going to go hang out with a thruster, that I'd feel that's cheating.
Or like if you had like a robot sex doll in the spare room.
Yeah. Well, because I'm there, because my thing is always like, I've always been so fucking reluctant to try the fleshlight or anything like that, because people are like, it feels great. And I'm like, I don't want to ever blur the line between shagging and wanking, right? Because wanking is sometimes, I say it to Kat all the time,
100%
like
agree.
when we first started moving in, she's like, did you have a wank today? I was like, of course I had a wank today. She's like, well, I'm like, no, like if I was horny to fuck you, you'd be the first person I told. I was just anxious about shit, so I went for a while. I wasn't going to bother you with my anxieties.
It's a different meal.
Yeah.
It's like, do you want savoury or sweet?
Yeah, I'm not, like, sometimes I'll have porn, but a lot of the time I'm just like, ugh, and then it's done, and then I come out and I'm a better partner because...
Sometimes you just date because you've got a hard on, and you haven't got a hard on because you're horny, you've just got a hard on because like, you're out of bed.
Yeah, and I'm not going to come to you with every hard on I've got, like a fucking cat or like a child bringing in like a broken winged bird being like, can we fix this one? I found this from outside, it's your problem now. Sometimes I'll be like, I've done this, I've wound myself up, I'll go fucking deal with it.
I agree. But yeah, I agree. It's like just get it done, get it out of the way. Yeah. I don't want to be making... Even I remember American movies, I found out this is a foreskin-based thing, but I have a foreskin, so I never used lotion like they in American films. But even now, I tried it once, I was like, that's too much admin.
That's because
I don't want to have extra stuff to clean up.
Yeah. That's because they've all got hoggers. They've all been circumcised.
Yeah. They've all got... So they don't... Are you both uncircumcised?
Yeah, no, my parents when I was born looked at my body and went, oh, he's perfect, as opposed to every American who went, I know he's already got a tiny cock, but that wee bit there, take that off for money.
Clean.
Have you got yours off since you moved to America?
Yeah, you have to. It's part to get the green card. You have to do it. It's part of the medical.
Yeah.
It was a real surprise.
They're like, hand it in, hand it over.
Yeah.
It's like a deposit.
Yeah.
You get it back.
handed a foreskin for a gun. It's like a swap system.
I imagine they're like, we're going to put a bit of this foreskin into the card. So, you do get it back, but it makes you feel real American.
Right, you have to do all your fingerprints and then just your foreskin graft on there. If you've got no, I don't know what happened if you've got no foreskin before you go. I guess that's fine. They just let you in.
Yeah, I can't.
Also, if you're pre-circumcised, you don't need a green card. You're one of them.
Yeah.
They just look at you. Either green card or let me look at your dick. Those are the rules when you come across the border.
Has there ever been a Jewish person with a foreskin, or is that like you're not in the club?
Has there ever been? That feels like a listener's question.
Yeah, is there any Jewish people listening that have just flat out went, no, I'm keeping that, and you're still allowed in the club?
But they get it when they're like 8 days old.
They get it when they're 8 days old.
Has any Jewish people that have sued?
I imagine there might be, because there's definitely, to get into, if you fall in love with a Jewish person, let's say in this instance you fall in love with a Jewish woman, like a lot of the time they'll be like, you have to marry you have to join the faith. You can't be.
You can convert.
Yeah. And surely part of that conversion is like that's got to come off there.
I feel like that's.
How much do you love your woman? Like,
it's a big ask, like.
Yeah, I would happily lie to a woman about, lie to a partner about believing in whatever fucking voodoo they believe in, just for the time being. But astrology and God and
you're in like the hot Africa with a disc in your lip, going, I love a few rings on your neck, going, anything for the culture.
I just want to fucking embrace it. I think
trying to get laid.
I think the cutting of the foreskin off would be when I'm like, I don't love you as much as I love my cock.
Yeah, my full.
And it's my cock that loves you. Why are you doing this to him? He's your biggest fan. He's the reason we're here in the first place.
And a lot of Americans who, like, it's not religion based, they're just like, it's for hygiene and shit.
It's
like that.
not.
But like, if I'd knocked out my teeth food, I probably wouldn't need to brush my teeth. What about that? That's hygiene. Just wash it.
It's just true. Wash it. Yeah. Who do we know who's had an infected dick from not washing under the foot? That's the first bit you'll wash.
Probably loads of people, but we don't know.
Don't put that in the WhatsApp group. To be fair.
Probably one of us, and we're just the other two are just like, who mystery.
Do you know anyone who, as an adult, has had to have a circumcision because they had a non-retractable foreskin?
Yes,
I do.
Sean McLaughlin.
Yeah, he's a comedian. My other friend, I won't say his full name. My other friend, when he was like 24. Firstly, I had another friend who didn't know whether he was circumcised or not. And then when we were like 18, we're like, well, let's look at your dick. And we're like, oh, mate, you're circumcised. His parents never told him. Because he wasn't Jewish. It was hygiene reasons, I guess. Or he had I don't know what was under there when he was a kid. But my other mate, non-retractable foreskin, and then he found out by chatting to his two other brothers that both of them had it as well. And one of theirs retracted during intercourse. It broke and retracted.
Oh, yeah. Have you ever tried to put a sweater on where the neck's a bit too small? So do you reckon your first hard on is just trying to put a sweater on?
Well, there's sometimes, right, so with Caelan's clothes, right, there's sometimes you expect just the head to go through, but because they've got fucking massive heads, a lot of the jumpers you give them have instead of just an air hole, there's buttons here so you can make it looser. And sometimes you're
just got buttons doing the side of your cock.
Zips, it's 2022.
Velcro.
Sometimes Karen will put them in the jumper and then not tell you, and you don't know because you just start ripping his head and you're like, fucking, has his head got bigger, or am I just really bad at fatherhood? And the answer is both.
I'm meant to. What's his foreskin like? Is it decent? Does it retract okay?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you do have to.
How do you know?
You got what
you got to wash under his foreskin.
You have to peel the foreskin back.
Aye, man. Yep.
You have to.
Aye.
Can you not just get in there with a jet washer? You get the cartridge, just a couple of.
You got to do it from distance because they're smaller, but
just like you're trying to get moss from between the pavement
Your kid has a massive phobia of water slides afterwards.
Oh man, I mean, I definitely shouldn't be telling this on the podcast, but here we go. Right, so I've been away for like 10 days, which is the longest time I've been away without seeing my kid. I get off the plane. I'm so excited to just go home that like fucking headphones on, get in the car, get in the taxi, to go home. And I've messaged Cara previously because I had card problems where it was fucking my details were stolen, and I was like, I'm not going to be able to pay for this taxi, so can you make sure that you've got money out in the house, so I'll come in, grab the money, pay the guy, and then we can be at home together. She's like, yeah, absolutely. Right? I get home, her car is not in the fucking drive, she's not in the fucking house. Thankfully, I've got our joint account on us, and I've remembered the PIN code for that, so I pay for that. And I message her being
it's like she's left him, but she's just texted pretending they're still together.
Yeah, classic.
And I'm like, and she knows how much I've been missing home. Like, is this some sort of really fucking horrible prank? Like, why? If you're at the shops, why the fuck are you at the shops? Like, you knew when I was coming back. She's not answering. I'm like, what's going on? I phone her. I'm like, where the fuck are you? And she's like, I'm at the airport. And I'm like,
what?
Why?
She'd surprise picked him up.
And went to the wrong. Well, to be fair, Edinburgh Airport is the second worst airport in the world after Dublin, and they have 2 international arrival bits because fuck everyone else. We're Edinburgh. Why would we give a shit?
Like, it's only one terminal as well, isn't it? But
it's a tiny fucking but they're just like. And there's by the way, and on both of those, they don't say, oh, by the way, it's at this one. They're just like, haha, guess. So
that's very Edinburgh.
Oh, if you work at Edinburgh Airport, I cannot stress. I mean, I'm not allowed to say do something to harm yourselves because we're online, but really look hard in the mirror at who you are and where you work, and understand that you're a bad person because of it.
Bit much, I think.
No, absolutely not. No. And every single time, there's not been
that wound's still fresh.
What happened to be kind?
There's you lose the right for people to be kind if you work at Edinburgh Airport or Dublin. You don't get the right. If you're a cunt to everyone, you don't get to throw around be kind. And I've never been in Edinburgh Airport where my luggage has not taken more than 45 minutes to move 30 metres from that airplane I came out to just here, and watching 3 baggage handlers being like, our shift doesn't start. It doesn't matter when your shift starts. They are.
My favourite example of this exact thing was the other day. I was on a bus from where Hannah's family live outside of Edinburgh into Edinburgh, and a guy gets on the bus and he's like, excuse me, does my Lothian bus pass work? And the guy, rather than go, no, it doesn't, he just goes, does it look like a Lothian bus? And the guy was like, no. And he goes, well, there's your answer, pal. And I was just like, and I was at the back, I want to punch the I was like, why? Why do you need to be that sarcastic?
I think I would have developed the power to choke him with the Force like Darth Vader. I would have just like found it in myself. to just choke him from afar.
He also, when I put the money down when I got on in the thing, he just, rather than say, he just picked up a lid and just pointed at it. And I went, what? He goes, put the money in the lid. And, all right, so I had to scoop it back out of that little section and put it in the lid for him, so he could do
power trip and bus driver.
One time on one way to Glasgow, I got the fucking train through, and I've got my headphones on, just listening to music, right? And I'm just sitting on my phone, right? And then eventually, like, the man puts his hand across and knocks on the table in front of me, and it's the ticket inspector, and I take my headphones off, and I go, oh, sorry, man. And he goes, there's a fire. What would you have done if there was a fire? And I'm like, I guess I would have felt the fucking heat or the alarm that I assumed. I assumed the fire alarm isn't a bald 65-year-old cunt going, there's a fire on the train.
There's a fire. That's like Alan. That's literally from Alan Partridge. Is it? The bit where he's out of Country Fair. He goes, no one's listening. He goes, fire, the fair's on fire. Only kidding. There's a fire engine. No one's listening to him. That guy is Alan Partridge. Yes, there is.
Accidental Partridge.
Let's keep doing Jobsworths. The other night, I was in the pub and I went to have some food. Kitchen closed at 9 o'clock, and then it was just, you know, that Edinburgh, you get the guy running a pub, white face, rosy cheeks, probably 23, but he's the manager and it's gone way to his head. And I said, our restaurants go, if I go get some food, can I like eat it outside? He goes, no food from outside the premises allowed inside the premises whatsoever. I'm like, just say...
You read your small print.
Just say no. Say no. Don't have to give me the... And then I told Hannah, and he could obviously see me telling her exactly what she did. And she's just going, what a fucking cunt this guy is. And then he had no choice but to then just like death stare her. And I was like, what are we doing, man? Just what are we doing? Just chill out. It's just, you're running a Swedish pub, mate.
Fucking cunts, man. Anyway, so I get back.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
so
sorry.
you just blamed Edinburgh Airport on your lass being a tit.
Aye. Well, it could have been.
No, she was being
I
kind.
forgot, what did she do?
She was being kind.
What happened to her?
So she was at the main international domestic arrivals bit where most people come through, and then there's the other bit that Edinburgh goes, oh, by the way, there's a secret one which we don't tell anyone about.
Right.
It's the opposite end of the airport, and there's no sign which tells you which international route. And because it's a surprise, and here's the thing, Cara hates when surprises are ruined, and I hate surprises. So this is a nightmare scenario for both of us, because when I phone her, I'm like, where the fuck are you? She's like, I'm at the airport. And she's laughing to cover up the fact that she's devastated that one of her surprises doesn't work. And I'm fucking raging going, don't fucking surprise. If you didn't try to surprise me, we wouldn't be in this scenario. Anyway, she comes back. We're both happy to see each other. And then we both just laugh about it. And we're like, this is the worst case scenario for both of us, because I got a surprise that didn't work out. And your well-meaning surprise was ruined. So I've missed like 2 or 3 of Caelan's swimming lessons, and Cara's just like...
Sorry, it's just funny. I was like, just to someone, I've missed some swimming lessons.
Yeah.
In the story, I'm just thinking about the taxi driver whose engine's still running, waiting to get paid while you wait outside your house.
Sorry, you missed some swimming lessons.
Missed some swimming
So
lessons.
This is my wife tell a story. It's like,
I've missed all this time with him. He needs a bath, and Cara goes, you can get the bath with him, like, because one of his favourite things when you're in the pool with him is you have the back of his head and you look over the top of him, like, and he's like, this is amazing, I'm in water, I can see you, this is class. So I'm like, do I get... Well, to be fair, I don't think I asked, do I get it naked? I think I assumed, because, I'm like, he's not developing memories in it yet. I could just get in fucking naked with him and just put him there, and he looks up at me and he smiles, and I'm like, I've missed this for 10 days, like that fucking smile. And his hand goes back and just grabs my cock. I don't know how he just straight fucking behind.
Reach around.
Oh man, reach behind. Like he got so excited to see me there. He went, oh, and then just, if anything's in his hand, he's like, and I'm like, oh, fucking Cara. Like, let's not make that. Hopefully this isn't the first time his consciousness comes on. Like, what's your earliest memory? Well, I was swimming with my dad in a very small pool, and
And you hadn't had sex in like 11 days, so somebody touched it. You'd been away from home for a while.
No, as we previously discussed, I bleed the radiator regularly. Aye. You only wank like once a day on tour. That blows my mind.
I fucking save it up. I treat myself.
do you?
Aye. I can. I've been recently using girls on Reddit. he put us on to Gone Wild.
What do you mean, girls on Reddit?
Oh, just
people having a chat.
We've talked about this on the
Women
podcast
talking on
before,
Reddit.
but
Okay, right.
I'll tell you now, so you're up to speed. Is lasses just sometimes just show their fanny on Reddit.
There's no rules on.
There's a subreddit called Gone Wild, and it's just for men or women who want to go
a bit wild. They just show, but they show a sort of a just a.
Sometimes
sort of,
they include their faces.
Okay.
Chris, it's the thrill of girls sending you nudes without the cheating of girls sending you nudes.
I always think though,
You're getting sent nudes, but like everyone else can see them, which is like what.
Aye.
Aye.
It's like, you know when Snapchat came out and like you were flirting with a girl and she'd send out a picture of her looking good and you're like, I know I'm not the only bloke you've sent that to, but that's not gonna.
I missed because we met just before that type of social media.
Oh yeah, of course.
So I missed some of that.
Oh yeah, how long you been with your lovely
10
wife now?
years.
Yeah.
And people were doing the odd dick pic. I don't think I did a dick pic.
No.
I think it was just before dick pics became.
I sent a dick pic as an insurance picture for the nudes I was getting off a girl.
Just been like, if you send me more of theirs, here's my dick, so you know I'm not
Okay,
gonna.
right.
She done us like an advent.
Do you never worry that like that's good at some point? No, you don't. You don't really care if someone sees it because I think people actually do get it. If someone showed a photo of your dick that you'd given them, they'd actually probably feel sorry for you, not because of the size of your dick. That's part of it, obviously, but for the fact that someone, I mean, they're human beings. They're going to be a little bit sorry for them.
It's all camera angles though, isn't it? I made it look like the Freedom Tower.
Perspective. You built a tiny model of Big Ben and put it next to your dick.
Big Ben's my
yeah,
dad.
no, I wonder if actually, yeah, you're right to not feel because when you say that, there's Reddit, people don't have Reddit. Do you know, in 10 years they might get like an important job and they've.
Well, so occasionally some people they have posted, been like, oh, somebody from work has worked out that this is me because I've got this tattoo, and here's a video of me fucking dadding myself with a lightsaber, and it's ready.
I feel like nowadays I think people are most sexual. People get it. People get that there's a blueprint of stuff out there now.
I think there was a time when you didn't really know the etiquette of nudes and stuff. I mean, if you'd really thought about it, you probably could work out, but you weren't doing much thinking because somebody sent you nudes.
Yeah.
And then I mean, I've been out of the nudes game for years now. I don't know. In my head, I'm like, and it's fine, and there's nothing wrong, and revenge porn has disappeared. I'm sure everything's, now that I've left, I'm sure it's all clean.
Did I ever tell you about the girl that asked for our nudes back so she could send it to another dude? I fucking respected it.
Wait, hold on, what do you mean back?
But she didn't look as good as she...
No, she'd sent them to me, right? And then, like, we had our thing and fizzled out, and, like, just a couple of months later or whatever, I just went, "Are you still got any of them pictures I sent you?" I was like, I'm not meant to. Do you want us to delete them? She was like, "Oh, thank God, I've just been chatting up this live and you want some nudes." She's like
an old club comic. Because we fucked up any new materials. It's like, this is my killer 20. Let's just use the same boobs, send them out again. That's because it wouldn't be that difficult to redo.
Well, she might have just been like out and about it.
She's in a rush because Kai's got nothing better to do. He's got them on file. That's hilarious.
He's got them. So hooked her up with our own nudes.
There you go. I give them back. That's good. You know, paying it backwards.
He's a gentleman.
Pay it backwards.
Aye. Also, you answered it. You answered it by where they'd be like, "Just have this nudes," and you're like, "Aye, but if you want me to delete them, of course I will." And she's like, "No, as a thank you, keep wanking away, but just don't think about me and this new guy that I'm definitely shagging instead of you."
You must have done some. You did a few. When did you meet your other half?
I did 2012, and then kind of exclusive like in 2013.
Right. So you were similar. No, you're the most recent to have probably done the nude.
Yeah. And I sent dick pics, and but it was always like if a girl or somebody is sending them to you, I'm like, I imagine like the amount of trust that must be involved to do this, and the fucking very legitimate fear of, if this ends bitterly, I don't know how you react when you're fucking jilted. You could just do this. I would always just be like, here it is, and also, even if we don't talk, say the word, and I'll delete everything that you've ever said. Like, I hope that goes without saying, but if it doesn't, here it is, and let's.
I've never had a nude off my wife.
Yeah,
I have. You travel away a lot. You've got to get nudes off your wife. I've had a nude off your wife. Sorry.
Anyone else? Anyone at home want to say that you've got a nude?
You can email in.
Everyone tweet in. I've had one off your wife.
I remember doing a joke about how she used to send her progress reports to Joe Wicks. This was 2016 when Joe Wicks was just like, he had another job, and when
he was slightly less.
The Joe Wicks brand was like his side hustle before he become a fucking multi-millionaire. It was like she was in the pioneer stage of it, where like you'd send photos before and after, and then he'd post the progress reports. And I was like, the only way I could get nudes off my lasses gone on his Instagram, and that was my bit.
That's funny. He used to do. Yeah, now he's sort of. Does anything. That guy, there was something about him on the way. Everyone on the way up, more appealing. Now what's he doing? Some weird...
Oh, did you prefer him when he was underground?
Yeah, I preferred him when he was in
mainstream.
Richmond giving out flyers, and he was on Instagram. Now he's the nation's PE teacher.
And does he not have a fucking knighthood?
Call me old school. I'm a Mr. Motivator guy.
Oh, no.
That guy.
I always called my PE teacher sir.
I think if anyone accepts a fucking OBE or any knighthood in the past fucking 5 years, you lose the right to be kind, and I get to shout what I want at you. Like, you don't get to... Well, not since the past 5 years. Let's go since they harboured a pedophile. Yeah. Anyone after that, if you still accept a fucking knighthood...
Now the institution's been tainted, like it hadn't already previously been tainted.
Before.
Yeah.
When Henry VIII was like beheading his wife and that, like, take a knighthood then.
Yeah, easy. Yeah, well, I mean, if you don't, you'll cut off your fucking heads. do you want this one to end up here and here, or fucking here, and make a choice?
The monarchy.
Would you take a job seriously if you were a knight?
And how?
I don't know. Like, would you
like challenge people to duels?
Would you slap us with a glove?
Yeah. Someone's taken it. Some of the people we've mentioned earlier. These jobs. There'll be some knight jobsworths out there.
100%.
Actually, I'm a knight of the realm, so you have to address me as sir.
You do. Yeah, and they have like sir on their bank card, and they're like, I've seen you do doctor, so you'll be able to do SIR. Just print it on there.
One of the coolest things about being a knight would be if someone's like, "Oh, Sir Chris," just call me Chris. I'm a cool knight. Don't worry, guys. You don't have to. Hey, get off your knee. Get off your knee. I'm a regular guy. Don't have to call me sir. All right.
Yeah. I would be like, please, Sir
like
Chris.
a
Sir Chris is my father. Just call me Sir.
would you be like a supply teacher knight? The one that like
Yeah. Just sitting on the edge of a desk. Hey,
sitting backwards on a horse. So, you guys, I just want to be a little bit cool. What the fuck is moving?
you won't wear like your big helmet because you've got your hair done.
Yeah.
Take a hair to clean. Supply teachers turn up aftershave on. Who are you trying to impress?
I agree with you just on the Joe Wicks
supply
stance on, like, I really liked him, and now, and I'm sure this just comes from deep bitterness inside of me, but, you know, we had a girlfriend, and then he got famous, and then that girlfriend fucked off, and he married a model, and I'm like,
You did that, but with sisters.
Do you know his wife? I did an online advert with her a few years ago, like
Rosie
10
Jones.
years. Yeah, and she was really nice and obviously quite attractive.
She's a very beautiful lady.
She said to me, she did, I guess this was before iPhones. I can't remember. It must have been like 12, 13 years ago. She said her name, and I was like, I looked her up, and then that wasn't because she was a page 3 model.
Yeah, and
so that was quite. So she was like, I go, what do you normally do acting stuff? It was this. I can't remember what it was. It was crap. It was like some stupid online thing where I had to say like 3 words, and the director, I swear to God, made me say them. For like 4 hours because when it's only like 3 words, it's like see you tomorrow. It's like no, see you tomorrow. No, and I do it's that shit. But anyway,
Dan on.
Yeah, it was that weird.
3 words.
I wish I could have been a Dan on gig, mate. It wasn't that good. But yeah, then I was like, well, what's your name? She goes, I act and stuff. I was like, oh, sorry. I think maybe trying to look at IMDb and stuff, and then I was like, oh, that was weird. I'd seen her breasts and then went back, but she was very nice, and I do see what you mean, that maybe he did the Paul Hollywood thing of
which you're allowed to do. You know.
Now you feel like you were on principle because you already.
I also comes from bitterness that she wasn't just a page 3 model. Rosie Jones was in Front magazine, which I loved as a fucking teenager.
Front.
I
missed that.
Front, yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 31.
Yeah, so you're 5 years younger. So yeah, I'm FHM. I'm nuts. I'm Zoo.
Mine was like Jackie Degg and Lilani Dowding. Like they were my like cover girls.
I feel like you're just doing that thing where people start
like
talking about 80s football with me, and I'm like,
Did you used to be a big fan of the 100 Sexiest Women in FHM?
It was always Sarah Michelle Gellar.
It was or Gillian Anderson for about 3. Yeah, they were like Messi and Ronaldo of the 90s attractive women off TV.
The Ballon d'Or.
Yeah. That was
the Ballon d'Or.
No. They're just nice ladies who are naked.
Okay.
Yeah. They're not even naked. They're just.
No,
they wouldn't even be naked.
Sexiest.
It would just be like someone off the TV wearing a sort of covering. It wouldn't even be that. It'd just be in a nice top. It was like 90s, and I was a teenager, so soft call.
I used to sneak them magazines into when I went for a shower. To sneak them into the bathroom. I'd have them like in my towel in case I walked past. I had 5 people in a small house, right? And I'm like fucking trying to get my magazine into the shower, like they don't know.
Why did you?
Crumpling, crinkling legs.
It feels like why did you not? Did you share a room with someone?
I shared a room with my brother,
right,
and then my sister had her own room.
Right, so your shower just communally must have been a write-off. That sounds. Everyone must have been knocking one out in that shower. Have you ever thought about that?
You know what? Can I festival time? Confession time. It's my turn.
Yeah, sure.
I once I let it fly in the bathtub. Right?
Hold on. Clarify what let
I was in the shower,
right,
and I jizzed.
Right. Sorry, I thought very easy could have been a shit thing, but no, we're still on camera.
I let it fly. I just had my arse cheeks parted, and I was like, way grosser than that.
Right. You have a wank in the shower,
right? And you've got to make sure the shower's not too hot, or it'll scald to the bottom of the bathtub. Have you ever come across that before?
No.
Oh, and it poaches on the bath floor because the shower's too hot, and you're like, oh fuck.
Oh wait! Oh yeah, come right. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
I thought you were talking about.
I thought you were talking about like it was a metal bathtub and it was heating up too much. No. So always gets weird when it gets involved with
it's
liquid.
It's like a gremlin, mate. It's just it goes. It's don't trifle with it.
Yes.
I've always mentioned I've always shoot it down the fucking toilet pan. If it's not into a tissue, it's doing the pan.
I do that as well. It's a terrible angle to do, but it's just again it's the post.
Yeah.
You know it's going to feel bad the moment you finish, so let's get it in the toilet, even if it means if anyone walked in on that angle, it's going to look horrific.
It's just you running out during your weakest, most vulnerable moment to get to the
right. So
you've got that stringy poached cum bit.
You've got the it's the something about Mary. That is what.
Yeah, so that's on its way down. It's flowing. It hasn't boiled at the bottom of the bath, right? It's flowing down, right? And then it kind of, like I say, I live with my mum and my sister, right? God. And the hair was at critical mass.
Oh no!
Right, and it blocked it up, and it started filling up, and the water level was rising. And I was like, oh fuck, I'm gonna have to salvage this, right? And I pulled it. Right, does everybody just want to skip about a minute of the podcast and not listen to this bit? And this
I feel like everyone could have skipped all of the podcast.
Chris, you understand the podcast. That's what it is.
When I came in and we started immediately on pornography.
Yeah.
It's
So I pulled out the accumulation of hair capped with my poached
binding
jizz,
agent.
right, binding agent.
Yeah.
Right,
Just your cum?
and pulled it out. Oh, mate, it was like it unearthed my whole family's last fucking 20 odd weeks
God, I think it was
of hair and jizz.
your actual family tree, like a physical representation.
Oh, mate, it was a Cronenberg family. It was a fucking Cronenberg. I pulled a Cronenberg out of the thing, and
that's horrible.
Straight down the hatch.
The council estate oyster. He even got it out of the plug hole with a really small fork. Bit of Tabasco sauce. Well, I didn't have any.
Shallots.
It's an aphrodisiac.
Oh, God.
Not that I need that. Like now, I'm already done. I didn't have any Tabasco sauce, so I just used the cool mint shower gel.
So I think, should we introduce our guest?
Yeah. Welcome to the podcast, Chris Martin.
Hi. We can't go. Where do you go from this?
Well, I'll tell you where we'll go.
How do you talk about knitting after this?
Last time I saw you, we were in Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to go from, this is a funny pivot to conversation. You can talk about any of the stuff that happened, by the way, but that's going to be a funny gear change to the listeners.
Yeah. So we had every time we do the tour in America, we have the opportunity where we've got 2 days off, and we always go, just send us to Vegas, and we'll see who can come down and visit with us. We've holidayed with you before. You're very good company. You're a good fucking drinker. You've got the same. Especially
we're like going on the little horse machines.
Yeah, we love.
We talked about how you won $700 on that on here before.
I don't know if we did actually.
This fucker, like we're going on the horse race machine where
it was like a 20 pence one as well.
I think you put. Yeah, maybe it's at 20p a bet, or you put a dollar. I
think it's $1.
$1 a bet. But anyway, it's like
you just guessed the way all of the horses were going to line up.
You guess 1 and 2, and if you get lucky, you might get 30 quid. This fucker comes in on his second go in this casino, and he puts it in the second one. A 692 to 1 shot comes in.
Yeah, you always put 2 small ones just in case that happens. You win the money back, and then a big one because 1 in every 1,000 happened to Neil last time we were in.
Yeah.
I was happy that you won that. Obviously,
I also definitely was not up like that. That got me to, I think, 200 back, because when I'm drunk and when I lose stuff, I'll just go, now's the time. 200 on red, and we're gonna fucking win it back. Black. Fuck. Right, I'll do the same thing tomorrow, but with 500 quid.
It's a brutal way to do it. That's why they don't let you open the windows in the hotel.
Yes.
Who was it? Remember we were walking back and there was some lass that was just like, there was a lass just walking around and trying to give someone a blowjob.
She was a sex worker.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure she was a sex worker, because you reminded me.
I was like, that lass is having a nightmare. Like,
no.
No one's letting her suck that dick.
She was a sex worker, because you reminded me.
That guy's just handing out free coke. He was just giving like coke.
And everyone's like, "No, I'm good."
No, because we were drunk and we were like on the way back to our rooms, and then I think it was like she came. She was very friendly, obviously, and she was like, "You all right, guys?" And we were like, and the vague memory was like, "Yeah, all right." We go, "What have you been up to tonight?" And she went, "Sucking cock," and we were like. Have a good night.
That's. Also, I don't. If you're a sex worker, I don't want you at the end of your shift. Don't tell me that. Is the bread fresh? Not yesterday's.
The problem is, again, it was a bit too ambiguous because he just thought it was a lady who did that for fun.
I thought she was just like separated from our mates and just having a wild one on her own.
No, yeah, I mean, we didn't.
Well, Val had
we
them,
did,
mate.
we did.
You just lose your mates and just suck people off, right, guys?
Is that what happened when we lost you at Festival that year?
Oh, but yes, that was a funny end to a funny evening.
Was that also because my memory? We drank heaps, but my
now,
memory
now
didn't
that we
go.
know your mum's like okay.
Oh yeah, talk about it. Okay.
Did he not just say the most inappropriate line of all time?
So the next day, I get a phone call walking through.
We're on our way to Topgolf.
On our way to Topgolf, walking through MGM Grand. My mum had been in hospital for a few days with this like mystery thing. And then my dad called and said she had a stroke in hospital last night. So I'm a bit like fucking confused. And I'm flying back to LA like in 3 hours, but I'm going to go play Topgolf with you guys. And then I like catch up with you guys. And I'm like, oh, yeah, it's like crazy. My mum just had a stroke. And my dad's like, don't come home. But I'm trying to get home. But it's weird with immigration stuff. And then Sloss goes, oh, it could be worse. It could have been last night. I would have really ruined our night out. And I was just like, yeah, I guess that's a positive.
Literally the first thing he said to respond to it.
I'm trying to put a spin in it. I was trying to cheer him up.
And then we were playing Topgolf, and then I said something like, "Oh my god, I'm not very good. I normally take a few strokes, ironically, to take." So it couldn't be in a more annoying place to be if someone's had a stroke, which is playing golf.
Somewhere that's
stroke.
called
and you had to get that joke in because you're like, well, clearly Sloss is insensitive and just going to say whatever comes into his mind.
Yeah, I have to get ahead of the curve a little bit, but no, yeah, it did make me laugh though.
Good, there you go. See, aye.
And it didn't ruin the night out the night before. And you are right, it would have been more annoying. So at least it was when we were.
I think at the time I was 100% fucking baked because we were in California. So I think in my head I was like, if he laughs at this, I've done the right thing, and this is because he's a comedian as well. You're like, I can get away with more here.
I always think.
But then every time you've told the story, I'm like, that was probably the biggest gamble you took in Vegas, Sloss.
Imagine if I just started crying and punching you.
Yeah. Kai letting the first 3 punches go in. He's like, all right, we got it. We got the rest of the show, Chris. Come on, be reasonable.
I didn't put out a job.
give him your horse race money to say sorry. Give him your horse race money to say sorry. Yeah, no, that was funny because I was completely all over the shop after that, especially hungover after the night before. But
not the information we wanted to
my
see.
mum's doing all right.
She's great.
It's all good.
Glad to hear
Got
that.
out of the fucking country. It's all good.
You get back to see her like for a bit.
Yeah, it was kind of mad. So, the full thing is she had a stroke and then found out it was lung cancer. So then it was like, did you know that, right? She had lung cancer. So it's really advanced, and I was in this weird situation where I couldn't get my visa. I could leave, but if I left, it completely fucked my whole green card up. But my mum was like, I'm all right at the moment, just stay, because they were trying to work out what treatment she could have and all this. And then I I'll shout him out because he's such a nice guy. I was like, Ronnie Cheng texted a senator to help me speed it up. Oh, yeah. And he did, and it did speed up.
Ronnie Cheng can do that. That's amazing.
Yeah. So that was the nicest guy ever. So, but there was still like 6 weeks where I was like, it was amazing how like weird. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Talking about your mum and cancer, don't tap the desk.
I mean, the audio quality is really important here. You know?
People could be worse. Yeah. The audio quality could be bad.
Yeah. People want to hear your sad story.
The sad story. Yeah. But there were so many weird admin points where I was like, I need to get home. I'm in this process where surely they could have speed it up. And I rung up this like the American immigration line. I was like, I know I'm waiting for this thing, but can I get an emergency exit thing? My mum's had a stroke. And they were like, yep, no worries. This is the emergency line. Okay, cool. Someone will call you in 72 hours. I'm like, how's that an emergency? 72 hours? How's that an emergency? So then the next day I found out my mum had cancer. And I rang and go, just so you know, also add cancer to that.
Yeah, and I would be there now. It's an emergency now, motherfucker. Because she didn't let me come today. I don't know what she's going to get tomorrow, but it's all on you at this point.
It's starting up now. They were going to AIDS. She's got AIDS as well.
Congrats, thanks, guys.
I'm like, then you're in this weird
unholy trinity.
Yeah, I'm like, Mum, just get one more thing to tip us over the edge, so maybe get a call back in 48 hours.
COVID, Mum, everyone's got COVID. Boring. That's not going to get the fucking sobs.
It was on it.
It was.
It was serious, actually. Then COVID.
I had it in 2019 there, but it was 21. The Vegas story. I put it back 2 years.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Because we did our last gigs pre-COVID were together.
We did.
And we did it fucking Largo, and it was that really weird situation where we were all backstage and we're like, is there enough hand sanitizer back here? And
no, you were very much like, we're just going to get it. You were like, maybe doing that like blokey, like, I don't care if I get it. Well, we're going to get it, so I'm going to get it. And I was like, I don't want to get it yet.
Yeah, we don't know the long-term effects of it. And I was like, it's only...
Let a few more bodies go over the trenches first.
Yeah. But I just see, I was, my opinion for our very early doors was, I was like, it's just killing the elderly. And, I'm not legally allowed to do that. So at this point, it's intervention from God. And then the asthmatics and the regular people started dying.
And then you got
like,
it and were quite ill, actually, weren't you?
Yeah, absolutely fucked me. And I was even with like half of the vaccine at that point. It buggered me rotten. And now I think it's meant to be.
You're a very unfit man.
I got it.
I was at the time.
I got it like 6 weeks ago. I got it 2 days ago, guys. Welcome.
Thanks,
test out your vaccine. I got it 6 weeks ago, and actually was shit. I got it at the Dave Chappelle. I was watching Dave Chappelle when he got attacked on stage, and I got it that night.
Oh, you were there?
Yeah, I was there. My mate weirdly that night.
Really cold in your knuckles.
Yeah, my face has just recovered from getting honestly, I've never seen people beat up a man more.
Oh, really?
Than the people on the back. It was so weird because it was also I was I obviously I must have had it because I was so tired. But also the show was like 4 hours, so I just thought I was tired because of that. I was leaving and I saw this guy running on this, and then he got chased to the back of the stage, and like 10 people just beat him up for so long.
Because there's the video of him where his shoulder is.
His arm was on backwards.
Yeah, it's not dislocated. It's just like they've removed. It's not at the shoulder socket. The shoulder is broken from like the neck bones and the rib bones, and it's turned around.
It was horrible.
I think that was an important message to send. That like everybody must have had it in their head, like, oh, Will Smith smacked Chris Rock and got away with it, and then somebody that wasn't Will Smith done it to Dave Chappelle, and you're going, oh no, that's what happens to you, by the way. That's the economy slap.
Yeah,
but you're not in business slap.
But also that happens if you attack Dave Chappelle, who has like security guards and about 1,000 people. I mean, if you attack me on stage, what happens is you just attack me for ages. That's what you attack me for so long, and no one's going to stop you. You can attack me as long as you guys like.
It's like when fucking what's his name that died on stage. They're just like, this is part of Chris's
Tommy
bit.
Cooper.
Tommy Cooper, right? This is
Incognito. Didn't he die on stage as well?
Don't think he was on stage.
No. I mean, he did die on stage quite regularly.
He did die on stage.
Did he?
He died on stage, and people thought it was part of the act.
He stole Tommy Cooper's bit.
I mean,
what a hack!
Jeez, he died being a hack. That's very unlikely. Oh God,
you would have hated that.
Yeah. Did Cogsy really die on stage?
He died on stage. People thought it was part of the act.
Mad, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Oh.
There you go.
That would be, we spoke of this, that would be my fucking nightmare.
I don't want to
be dying and for nobody to know that you're dying sounds like hell. You're like, because
somebody could save you, you could have another 7 or 8 years.
Which I imagine it's like drowning, because when people do drowning in TV shows, it's like, oh, help, I'm bad. But like what drowning, and you obviously as a lifeguard know this, what drowning is somebody not really moving that much, dealing with it and slowly going under.
Just their mouth coming up and gasping.
Yeah, not making much noise because you don't have any air in your lungs to make noise.
Is it the worst way to die or the best way? I've had this debate with someone before. I think it's the worst way to die.
It was the movie Prestige is the one where they were like, it's actually the best way to die. It's going home, and that was a lie.
The movie where there's loads of clones and it's magic.
I would hate it.
Yeah.
I would hate it. That's a review. I'd hate to die.
Would you rather drown or burn to death?
Apparently, like, there's a big fucking, like, at the end, like, an explosion of fucking chemicals or whatever that you go through. So, like, apparently it's a glorious finale.
Oh, really?
But the bit towards the finale, like, I'm sure, like, crossing the line on a marathons class, but it's not like the marathons class.
Yeah.
I think I'd rather, when we said burn, I don't like heat. I can't even do that thing where you like turn off a candle with your fingers.
Oh yeah.
Can you do that? Of course you can. Yeah. You and mine do that. Oh yeah, do it all the time.
Or when your missus
baby grabs my cock, I just do that.
When your missus,
some guy I am. Baby's got my dick in one hand, my other hand, turn off a candle. I'm just standing in Sloss. That's what I do, guys.
I put candles.
I make jokes about mums dying of strokes, and I just put out candles like that while the baby's wanking me off.
Yeah. I like how while my son's grabbing my cock, I've got candles on. I'm like, I'm bathing with my son. I've got to set the ambiance. Can I play Enya? Is there incense? Incense, not sense. Incense. Please don't report me to child services.
He's enjoying himself too much.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Don't take away this. It's all he has.
What? We're talking about heat, dying of burning.
Yeah.
Don't want to die burning.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't like if my last hand is my cup of tea and she's got the handle. I'm like, I need the handle, by the way. I'm trying to manoeuvre around.
That's true.
I don't want to grab it later.
And actually, I shower every day, so I feel like I'm more used to I'm more used to that. So I feel like the start of drowning, I'd be like, okay, I'll have a bath. I know what's happening.
Like a duck to water.
and then I'd be like, no, explosion, finish. That's not too bad, actually. I've sold myself on it.
You know what would be a really good exercise in stoicism if you were dying by falling out of an aeroplane without a parachute, right? Mm-hmm. Because you know that's going to be the quickest death.
Can't control it.
It's going to be the quickest death you've ever had. There's no what you can do in between. So instead of being like, I'm using my last 7 seconds to scream like a dick, just going, hey, this is class.
You enjoy this. Is the fastest I'll ever be in my life.
Accept it as quick as you can.
I mean, there is a 0.001% chance that you'll survive, because once people have survived terminal velocity falls before.
Really?
Yeah.
Falling out of a plane.
Well, it doesn't matter. Once you reach terminal velocity, it's terminal velocity. So if you can survive
What's that, like 90 miles an hour or something?
I've got no idea, to be honest.
Is it like,
like
if this was a pub quiz tiebreaker, I'd say like 285
miles an hour. It's got to be really high.
Yeah. I mean, I can go over to Google it in a second.
Not on this podcast.
But there is. I think that would be the one bit of hope my
there
brain
are terminal
gave me.
velocity survivors.
Yeah. People have survived from.
But they've not survived well.
That might be true.
Can they do spoken word stage stuff about their experience?
You don't hear about these people often. I don't think.
Nah, you're a superhero if you're surviving that. Like you should get.
Yeah, that you should make a movie about someone who's survived that.
Because what you should do if you're falling from terminal velocity,
it's about 200. Oh, I'm not doing kilometers. 120 miles per hour.
Oh okay. Boy,
that's fast.
Yeah, that makes mine seem less true. But here we go.
This
is like. No, it feels like bullshit. No one survived that.
So if you're falling, you know you're going to die. Just put your hand in front of you and just keep zooming in and pretend you're on Google Earth.
People have survived terminal velocity falls. In 1972, Vesna Vulovic fell over.
Look at that picture from here.
That's how durable. That was if you were to survive it regularly. That's what you'd have to look like.
Oh, that's before.
That's a computer-generated image of if you were to regularly survive falling out of a plane. That's what human beings would have to look at. But Vesna Vulovic fell over 33,000 feet without a parachute after a plane she was in exploded. She didn't exactly walk away from the fall, however. She spent days in a coma and was hospitalised for months after that.
And why is that? So, but who's that a picture of?
That is so.
But I want to see the picture of the woman that survived.
Oh, okay.
So she didn't just survive a fall; she survived a plane exploding.
Yeah,
and then the fall.
Yeah.
Oh, she's got a. She looks alright actually. She was in air. She was. Oh my god.
So she lives after. So that would be the bit.
You would feel like a soup. You would feel invincible after that. You wouldn't look both ways crossing the street.
You know what? Hypothetically, you would. But if you've been like smashed to ribbons and spent a bit of time in a coma and like
maybe
you probably would be like, oh, I feel invincible.
You're probably not taking advantage of Ryanair deals. You're thinking that's okay. I'm happy to be wrong on that, but
that's so what I'm saying is that would be the one bit of my fucking hope where I'm like. Am I the one guy? Like maybe I land instead of in the water. Maybe I land like
in a bale of hay.
Yeah, or it's like Assassin's Creed.
Or just hope it's over Blythe where every back garden's got a trampoline. You got like a 50%.
You need a trampoline with a huge hole underneath it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and really good springs.
Yeah, it's true. I don't think trampoline's that good where if you just 100-foot hole, it would go all the way down. It'd be that.
You watch far too much Roadrunner.
Yeah, I do.
Absolutely gutted if you survive the impact of landing on the trampoline, go all the way down, and it's that smaller fall that kills you. And you're like, fuck, oh no, wait. You just like, you do it the second, the third, and then you catch the angle wrong, and then you land on their spiked fence, and you're like, this is shit. I could have put I survived terminal velocity 3 times in the space of like 2 minutes, and now your fucking fence has done me in.
It's swimming like when you fly over water. If you're all going to die, right? That's the one that you're going to definitely die.
Yeah, because I imagine you break bones. You definitely break bones because that's just like from anything over like 300 feet. That's just you're hitting concrete at that point with water. So you're breaking bones and then you're drowning. I guess.
Have you been on a jet ski?
I've spaffed it on a jet ski.
I've always because I went on one.
I got knocked
in
out
Turkey.
on one.
Yeah, I was going to say it's like going 70 miles an hour and you go, oh, this is fun, and you go like oh, because if it fall in the water, no, this has been like falling on. Yeah, so you got concussed.
I woke up in an ambulance the last time I was on a jet ski.
They pulled him out face down in the water.
He fucking fished us out.
Were you going so fast?
I was doing about 80 or something, because it was choppy as well, it was the North Sea.
I just, no one I know is trying to jet ski in the North Sea apart from someone who's on like The Price is Right or something. That's like, people do it at like holiday, you're like in the North Sea. It's the most Geordie thing I've ever heard in my life.
It was just off blind, yeah. A few of them used to get out because you'd hit the swells and you'd gone off the other side and the wave would disappear underneath you and you're falling like that, and then you wake up in an ambulance. Class that again.
Yeah, go give it to me again.
You've not been on a jet ski since?
No, I went on one on my next holiday. I went on with the lads. I went on and it was just flat. I was a bit nervous on it. I was a little bit more respectful of the speed of the thing, but I've never been back on fucking trying to do tricks like I was. Like doing jumps and that.
Talking of that like ironic death thing, I did in my 20s. I did those gigs for the troops once, where you're in like Cyprus, where basically the troops have been in Afghanistan.
Oh yeah,
do, like one day where they go on a banana boat in the day, watch some comedy, then before they go back to civilization. We're supposed to civilization. You know what I mean? Back to that's not civilization. Is the wrong word. I don't mean that. I mean
you said it. You said it. Cancelled.
I mean going back to
society.
Society. Yeah. Well, I guess it's all
everyday life.
Everyday life, whatever.
Decompression.
Decompression. That's what it's called. But when I did it the week before, apparently a guy had come back and he died on the banana boat. He fell off the banana boat.
Oh, that's got to be...
Oh, well, the fuck, I'd just been to Afghanistan.
Yeah.
And then he come back and died in Cyprus on the banana boat.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I hope they told his family that he died in war.
Honest to
I
God,
hope they were just like, we'll fly the boat, we'll fly his body back to Afghanistan. You can come pick it there.
That's like me going back from
and
the
also
bull
like
run,
shoot him 3 times in the chest now, just so it looks like he take the life vest off. But no, it doesn't look like a bulletproof vest.
Take off Speedos. That looks weird. Why were you? No wonder he died. He was at war in Speedos.
His bulletproof vest was a life jacket. They literally only punctured it.
And his badges. He didn't have his war badge. He had his 20-metre badge sewn in and his 40-metre badge. You've nearly died loads, I just realised.
Oh, yeah.
When you said the bull run.
The bull run, the jet ski.
Growing up in Blythe, just like all of those. Where else?
I've smashed a car window in my face when I had a crash.
Bouncers pinned him down, put his head on the curb and stamped on his head to try and kill him.
I got fucking curb stopped by a doorman.
Curb stomped.
And it didn't.
American Shreks, not quite bite the curb.
I didn't bite the curb, but he kicked us in the face with his boots on, like,
Do you want to hear the story of the time I almost died and Kai saved my life?
I don't know this story, do I?
Oh, yeah, this is...
We were in Melbourne in Australia, and it was me, Kai, and Jean. And man, I'm not proud of this, but if I'm drunk or hungover, I can't be arsed. 7-Eleven Australian sausage rolls are just so easy. You go in, they're $1. You get that cool ketchup packet they've got where you just push the sides and it squirts directly in you want. I have a problem where I just don't chew food enough. Like
just eat quickly.
No, my brain will go 3 feels enough.
All right, you'll be swallowing just inconvenient sized.
Yeah. And I know I should chew more, but I don't. And so I take a bite of this thing.
Of course he's doing. He's putting out candles. He's getting his kid touch his dick. He's just fucking pelican style eating.
Yeah.
Gets his people to chew his food.
Gets his baby. There you go. Have some of that. Spit it in my mouth.
Pelican
opposite.
Yeah. Well, I was going to pelican would work. Any other bird would be good because that would suggest someone else did chew it for me and then spewed it out. That would be ideal.
Yeah. Okay.
It goes down my throat. And it just lodges there, and it's so firmly. And I'm like, "Oh, that's a closed thing." And I turn to Jean, and I'm pointing to my throat, and she's like, "Is it hot?" I'm like, and she's like, "Are you joking?" I'm like, because you need to tell me if you're joking. And I'm like, I can't explain anything to you with my fucking windpipe block. And then I'm like, oh, lifeguard.
His eyes were on stalks. He was like, Total Recall when he fucking his dad smashes on his
gosh.
Cunt was like that.
And I turned around to him and I'm like, duh. And he's first aid trained. He's given people CPR back to life before. And I'm like, I don't know why I went to Jean first, to be honest. Just for a nurturing touch, I guess. And his first thing is like, all right, dickhead. And fucking wellies my back. It just hurts. Nothing else. triceps. And he's like, all right.
Next,
Oh, so
abdominals.
The first one, you have to do that first, right?
Yeah,
The back, and then you have to go behind.
Yeah.
Now
He didn't have to lick his palm first, though.
I throw my elbow pad into the crowd like the people's elbow. I'd done the fucking big palm slap to the back. It didn't work, and then done the abdominal, the Heimlich thing, the Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah, I was going to say
that worked.
Yeah, is that when the line comes out of his mouth?
Yeah.
No, he throws a line at someone's head. That's different. Sorry, different part of the movie. Carry on.
It was a carry-on movie. Do you know one of the stages? Because I haven't done like any of my first aid training since like 2005 or something, so it might be different now. But the stage after you pass out is push it down and get it in your lung.
Oh wow!
Oh really?
It's easier to put it in and just deal with that later.
So wait, hold on. So the person passes out.
You do it like a breath. You fucking breathe it into their lung.
So you go like, blow like a.
Yeah, get it in there. They'll fucking have to operate on you and get the cunt out. But it might have changed since. That might be like, can you believe they used to do that back in the day?
Yeah. No, I think that's right. If it doesn't go out one way, then you've got to. I'd much rather that than some kind of being like, I watched. I watched ER and I can do that. The tracheotomy. Yeah, or like, cause the way I always saw it done in TV shows is they just get a biro, take the fucking pen bit out of it, and they go and stab it through the neck.
I saw that in something that was
Lost.
Movie.
It was episode 1 of Lost.
It's in The Heat as well. It's very funny. Sandra Bullock does that. Yeah. So you did
I've done the.
How many times do you have to do it?
I just once in a come out, like it just fucking.
Did it fly out?
Must have just.
No, I remember specifically, like it came back up and it felt like I'd spew and weirdly enough, I was like, I don't want to spew in public. That's embarrassing, even though I've just had my life saved very publicly. And then the other part of my brain was like, I'll not let this sausage roll win. And then I chewed twice more.
Yeah, and then swallowed it.
Yeah,
of course. You've got to swallow it.
Yeah,
like a dog. It's what my dog does. He throws up and then eats it.
Oh, that happened with Kaelin threw up and my dog ate Kaelin sick. But it was all breast milk.
Yeah.
So now Peggy is addicted to spewed up breast milk, and that's all she'll eat.
Yep.
So I need to get the black market and get it to put on a kibble.
I mean, we could just ask for an extra helping for this.
No, black market.
Okay, right,
I get a discount.
Okay.
Can I have some baby spewed breast milk, please, from the dog? And they're like,
No. But what I can do is I can give you breast milk and this baby. You're like, all right, I'll make it myself.
he'll throw up milk and he'll grab your dick. He's a great baby.
So, yeah, he's good.
What else do you want more from baby? So, So I've always wondered if that's what's the trick to it? Is there anything specific?
it's like up and under.
Yeah, you don't do it on the
ribs, go under the ribs.
Yeah.
And then one of the stages, because it's been a while since I've done it, one of the stages is chest compressions. So you do like back slaps and abdominals, and then there's chest compressions, and then you're like, oh fuck, I just blow it inside.
Aye.
I might have all changed, who knows?
Well, we might have to do Cara's looking into baby first aid courses. She said it through to me. She's like, "Is this mental to do?" And I'm like, 100% it's mental, but I am also as mental as you
don't
are.
want to kill
now.
your baby.
Yeah,
It's got to be the biggest fear. If I had a baby, I'd be so worried of it dying all the time.
And you worry. It's this part of your brain just goes off, and like when you're walking across a bridge, and that weird part of your brain goes,
jump,
"What if you were to jump?" Yeah. Imagine that times 1,000, but it's just about. And then what if I?
Much higher stakes.
Yeah. What if I drop the baby? What if I randomly threw the baby? What if I get it fucking wrong?
People section themselves into mental hospitals for the intrusive thoughts they have about their baby. And
you're like, they're just intrusive.
I had the weirdest one the other day with Hannah because she doesn't always sleep well. Sometimes it's insomnia, but she had like an audition, so she had to have a good night's sleep. And I always wake up earlier than her. The other day, I was awake and I was like, oh, good, she slept before the audition. But it was like 6:30 or 7. I was like, she didn't want to sleep for another. But I just thought, how funny would it be just to shout in her face, "Wake up!" like that. And I literally started laughing to myself just in bed. Like, so I was just like there, like smiling and laughing. Like that would literally, she would hate me so much.
She'd never forgive you.
I just couldn't. I just don't know why. I just couldn't get the thought of like I could literally just like make her hate me all day by doing this. And it was just the look in her eyes. She'd be so fucking scared.
And you'd never be able to justify it. And you're like, it was funny in my head.
It was just like but luckily had the other voice going, Dustin, don't do that.
And then the other voice going, pussy.
Well, I think the important thing about intrusive thoughts is you have to understand they are incredibly normal and they don't make you mental. It's like our brains,
Yeah, you're the filter, not the thoughts.
Yeah. And for thousands and millions of years, we were always looking around for dangers, and we've only ever been like safe as a species for anything up to like 2,000 years, and our brains haven't fully developed not to imagine the worst case scenario all the time. And obviously it's not, something's hunting me, I'm going to eat him. But now it's stuff like, am I going to be shit at this? Am I going to get hit by a random car? Am I going to get cancer for no fucking reason, etc., etc.? It's just...
That's why Stoicism, we mentioned earlier, is a good thing to practice.
Yeah,
you just can't control... Have you been reading stuff on
A
Stoicism?
little bit, yeah, about getting in between emotion and reaction.
Yeah,
I've
been reading some good stuff on it. Although the one thing I don't love about it is it basically, one of the things I've been reading is guys like, just if you always are prepared for stuff to go shit, then you won't ever be upset, which is kind of a negative way to view life. But the other stuff of just can't control most things, so don't stress about it.
I think it's always that thing when I'm like, I'll read it in a good mood and like, I'm going to put that into practice, and then something happens that's out of my control and I'm raging, and that bit goes, remember Stoicism? And I'm like, oh, fuck off and die.
Yes,
I'm busy yelling at this person who works in the Edinburgh airport. Calm down, please.
Yes, that's true. It's the doing it all the time thing. It's like
Can't do it.
Yeah, if you are like a true stoic, you would be devoid of personality.
Yeah.
Because none of your emotions would get through. You'd step between your emotions and your reaction all the time, and that would probably get in the way of half the charm of what makes you you.
And I love watching documentaries, or like whenever there's like little bits you see monks who are like Zen and they've got to that level, and I'm like, it's so fascinating, and I do genuinely find it interesting that people are able to commit their life to that. I would talk to one for 2 minutes. I'm like, what's being enlightened like? They'll be like, oh, it's class. I'm like, yeah, I thought so, and I don't care about your opinions on anything else if I'm being honest. Like, you watch Breaking Bad? Do you enjoy that?
Well, they do actually do. Weirdly, when I was in the Philippines on a honeymoon, Hannah's got like loads of obviously like Filipino relatives, and then one of them, he was like, "Oh, nice to meet you, but I'm going to go move to a monastery in the mountains." So
Benny Boo?
No, not Benny, but he has done that. But this Filipino guy, and he's like, "And I'm taking a vow of silence." So, and I was like, "Ah, all right."
He said the words, "I've taken a vow of silence."
No. He says, when I go to I'm moving to the mountains to do this thing, be what's it called, a monk, and all this, and it was kind of a Christian version of it. But he went, anyway, it's vow of silence. So I said to him, well, I guess I'll never get to speak to you again. He goes, no, I'm on Facebook. That's fine. I was just like, so they found a loophole in it. He can message. He can chat on Facebook. Yeah,
I think the whole point of the vow of silence is like totally negated by being able to use Facebook.
Yeah, of course.
You're not giving your brain the peace.
Is it a bit like no sex before marriage, but people at the bum? That's like the loophole. That's the monk equivalent of that. Facebook is the up the bum version of talking. That's actually quite accurate.
Imagine the Lord's just like having that day in the crossword, and then he sees someone shagging, and he's like, "Fucking hey, I'm gonna make." Oh no, it's up the arms.
Yeah, zoom in. Okay, no, it's fine.
Wait, hold on. It's just a girl doing that, right? Yeah, that's fine. As long as it's just... Aye, okay, fair enough.
Well, I'm here anyway.
That's the idea.
Then it just starts raining.
It's funny thinking of God having just an iPad as well. That's just funny. See him having a picture, get it out. Zoomed in too far.
Oh, God. I didn't make it look like that, did I? Oh.
You must get sent some very... Sorry, this is linked to bumholes now, but you must get sent some very odd, in that folder, the DM message request. Do you ever look in the message request section?
Occasionally. Like
it's often a nightmare?
No, my fans are relatively sound, and like I did when the Netflix stuff originally came out, and like it was I did go in and I was like, let's just see what's available out there, and there were a couple of like random nudes from ladies, which I was like, I didn't say thank you, but because I didn't want to engage with them, but you take a look and you go, that's great.
You got unsolicited tit pics?
Aye.
I did not know they existed.
Well, here's what I didn't know existed. I think this was a bot, but when it goes, it's blurred the image.
Yeah.
And I'm like, a morbid curiosity, I want to see what the blurred thing is. And it was just the most zoomed in photo of a woman's bumhole. Like literally so tight that.
Yeah.
But I was like, that's good, that's for someone out there.
Yeah.
But that's not, is that what, when someone goes, I'm a bum guy, not a boob guy, I don't think they mean like that in they don't mean the inside.
No,
track,
I like a good bum hole.
But right in there.
I mean, I'd like to see the rest of the arse, but like you
can't really gender a bum hole.
Yeah, I do need to zoom out before I'm
Can
like...
you gender a bum? I guess hair.
Yeah.
I mean,
not every bum, but I reckon I would have I think I would 60, 70...
That feels like a section on the podcast.
If I was on You Bet...
Gender the bum.
With Matthew Kelly...
Yeah?
And it had girls' bums, boys' bums. I reckon I'd trust me score.
I don't know, actually.
Bum holes, though.
I'm not as confident as you. I mean, obviously, if you saw a ball sack... If you saw a ball sack just poking out the bottom, that would...
Pause the podcast. I'll go get a picture of 8 guy bums and 4 guy bums, 4 girl bums.
That's so
we'll
much
do
to
it
do
right now. It's not. I'll be so quick.
You're actually doing that?
Yeah. Pause it.
Well, you can just snip out the silence here. Or me and Kai can film.
Yeah. You can see if you can fill it.
Yeah, let's...
How do we? Well, it's gone into a horrible place. It started horrible, and it's going to end horrible.
I don't think we need to do this part of the podcast.
Especially for an audio medium, because you've got people watching us, but they can't watch the bumholes.
But that means we're going to have to send the bumholes to Brett.
Oh, do we?
I mean, like, yeah, there's so many implications on play, and like, I'm really losing confidence now.
It means we're going to have to send the bumholes to Brett. What a sentence.
Now that we're actually...
We're going to have to send the bumholes to Brett. Brett, I know Brett, he likes a bumhole.
Yeah.
Right, set it up for the Patreon episode.
Set it up right.
Guys, join up the
Sign up to the
Patreon.
If you want to see Kai put his money where his mouth is, and he can
play guy butt girl butt. We'll make it. If anybody can send us a jingle for girl butt guy butt,
yeah, or your girl butt or guy butt, send it through if you want to be on the podcast.
If you want to be on the podcast,
take as gender neutral picture of your butt as possible and send it to Sloss and Humphries.
What is it? Muggins and Cream at gmail.com.
Oh, Muggins and Cream at gmail.com.
Muggins and Cream at gmail.com. If you want to be on guy butt girl butt, right?
I reckon, like, there's obviously going to be non-binary butt as well.
No.
No.
We're only talking to cis men and cis women to play guy, just to keep the parameters.
Yeah, for this because. And look,
I'm sorry.
You're not inclusive.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry for it to be exclusionary.
If he gets to,
we don't know what we're doing.
Yeah, if he gets over 90% of the right, then we'll get gender neutral butts in and non-binary and butts that are blokes on Mondays and Tuesdays and girl ones on Wednesdays and Thursdays. We'll do it.
All the butts.
We are the first podcast to solicit nudes from our listeners.
Yeah,
it's never been done before.
Changing the game.
Flame emoji, changing the game.
Do you have a podcast that's never been done before?
Why would anyone listen to that after the?
Well, because they listen to this shit.
I know.
They regularly do.
Yes.
Stockholm Syndrome.
That's true. It's good.
I
bet your listeners are.
These cunts will listen to fucking anything, man. And most of them are fucking sound. Like, they'll actually... These do translate into, like, ticket sales.
They're really cool. We'll hang out with them after shows.
I just now know when you next go on tour, you're definitely going to get someone like leave like a sort of printed out bumhole for you.
As long as it's a girl butthole.
Mate.
I want to see her.
Take any bumhole. If it's a nice bum.
He's so exclusionary.
No, I feel that. So it's bum. It's got to have the bum, the full bum.
Yeah, the full bum. Aye.
With the hole.
Yeah.
Chris, talking about you were one of the, because everybody's got a podcast now.
Yes.
Literally everybody. And we feel like we're like early adopters because we're like 2016 we started doing this podcast, and like we feel like everyone's got it now, but you're like, oh, we did it before it was cool. You were
Me and Carl
literally
did it so long ago.
Yeah.
You were literally the first people I knew of doing a podcast in the UK.
Yeah, apart from like Ricky Gervais and
Yeah.
Did they?
Like,
And Richard Herring before us. Yeah, shit. What? I don't know. Was that 2008? Maybe.
Wow.
Maybe. Me and Carl Donnelly did one. It's basically. I mean, I feel like I'm in the sort of Northern Scottish version of the podcast, which was bumholes came up a lot.
yeah, great.
Knobs and ice cream also came up a lot. We spoke about knob. We spoke about knob.
Do you speak about cum?
We didn't. Yeah, we come. There was a lot of debate because Carl Donnelly, who Brett, who's doing the thing, used to work with.
Oh no, it's not Brett Vincent doing this.
All right,
It's different Brett.
maybe that Brett worked with him.
We don't get professional agent Brett Vincent to edit our podcast.
When we got to send Brett the bumholes, I was like, I think he's. I mean, but maybe it's a nice break from booking diaries. I don't know. But who wouldn't want a nice bumhole to break up the diary booking process? Carl, we'd have a lot of debate that he didn't always wash his hands after masturbating. And I said, that's disgusting. And he said, well, if I don't get jizz on it, it's fine. And that was really the podcast for about 10 years.
Yeah, I'm on Donnelly's side.
No, it's
there.
weird. I've never really thought about it until now. But I am left-handed, so if I'm shaking people's hands, they're safe as fuck.
I do. I wash my hands.
Apart from the occasional 1 in 10 finger up there.
And that's our podcast.
That's our podcast.
No. He's got to plug his podcast, doesn't he? He's got to.
Who gives a shit? No one cares. It's called Getting I do a podcast now called Getting My Dad to Say I Love You, where I talk to people, and I need to get you guys on for the next series.
Yes.
But I want to be on this one first before I invite you. That's not why. Just be busy people.
Yeah, great.
Getting My Dad to Say I Love You. I talk to comedians, actors, writers about relationships with our parents, to see if their parents have ever said I love you to them, and also to see why we're all fucking weird and we need to be loved, and why we need to feel the need to talk about arseholes and wanking so much.
And we're doing the Fringe. Come see it.
Bye.
Bye.